First stop, Monterosso. This is the largest of the 5 coastal villages, and it's known for amazing beaches and crystal clear waters. When you think of Monterosso, likely the first picture that comes up in your mind are the orange and blue striped umbrellas. If you have a full day in Monterosso, it definitely makes for an ideal swimming and sunbathing location. I just keep in mind that it has quite a pebbly shore for those who are more used to finer grains of sand, and for us, since we only had a couple of hours here, we spent about the first 30 minutes or so walking around and dipping our toes in the water, which was just enough for us. We then decided to spend the rest of our time in Monterosso exploring the old town. The Church of San Giovanni Battista is located in the main square of the old town. This church was constructed in the 1200s in the Gothic Genovese style. Inside, there is a fresco depicting the baptism of Christ. Visitors to Monterosso can also explore a number of shops and stores located in the community. Here, there are tons of shops selling casual, 100% linen clothing, which is perfect in the hot Italian summer weather. There are also lots of gelato shops all around. We decided to visit this one, which is located right in the middle of Old Town. They offer homemade ice cream in a variety of flavors, milkshakes, and granitas. For dinner, we visited Cantina del Pescatore. One thing about Italy is that many of the restaurants have very specific opening and closing times, such as 12 to 2 p.m. for lunch and 7 to 9 p.m. for dinner. However, if you want a spot with a bit more flexibility, I definitely recommend visiting a cantina or wine bar in Italy. This one specifically specializes in bruschetta and charcuterie boards. The board we got was definitely one of the highlights of the trip because it featured a diverse range of local ingredients such as chestnut honey, pesto, prosciutto over melon, meats, and cheeses. They also had a section of the restaurant where you could purchase a lot of the ingredients that you just ate, from the honey to the pesto to various ingredients that they use. Lastly, I definitely recommend visiting the landmark statue of St. Francis of Assisi, which stands high above Monterosso and looks down over the old town and out across the Ligurian Sea. From here, you have a breathtakingly panoramic view. It takes roughly 10 minutes or so to fully walk up it, and there's also plenty of entertainment on the boardwalk during the evenings. Upon your arrival to Vernazza from the train station, you'll have the pleasure of walking through Vernazza's lovely old town. It's filled with photogenic buildings, lots of cute artisanal stores, and hidden alleys that lead away from the crowds. When I was planning for this big Cinque Terre trip, it was vital that we had a good way of planning out our day so that we would be able to cover everything in the limited amount of time we had. For me, I use Scrintl, which is a visual-first knowledge management tool where you can brainstorm and develop ideas. I created a visual board of my entire trip and used it to map out everything that I would do and eat in each of the towns. With Scrintl, I'm able to organize my plans for the trip and also take notes of any links or videos that I want to save down. One stop that I had clearly marked down on my mind map was 5 Terre Bistro. Since we were starting off our day in Vernazza, I knew that we needed to stop for a late breakfast. You can easily find it in Vernazza's main street, and they offer a varied menu. Since we were seaside, we definitely wanted to try their fresh grilled fish, which was perfectly crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. My personal favorite though was their creamy seafood risotto, which featured a variety of seafood items like mussels, clams, squid, and even giant prawns. We also tried the local pesto pasta, which utilizes the trophy pasta shape that's popular in the area and is tossed with a homemade basil pesto. And since it was so hot outside, we decided to get a strawberry slushy to end off our meal. In the harbor of Vernazza, there is a small sandy beach where you can take a swim, and there are also flat rocks that are great for climbing or sunbathing. The natural harbor surrounding the beach allows the water to remain calm and creates a great place to protect the locals' fishing boats. And on a hot summer day like the one we were here for, you can also find tons of people cliff diving. Next on my Scrintl board for Verona was a hike. I'd done lots of research prior, and I was able to save all these videos and links on the vision board to reference. For hiking, you can purchase a one-day trekking card for €7.50 or a train/hiking pass for €18. There's a checkpoint at the beginning of the hike where you can purchase a trekking card, or you can do so prior at the train stations or online. It starts off with a ton of stairs. Unfortunately, erosions and landslides have caused the trail from Rio Maggiore to Manarola and Manarola to Corniglia to be closed for safety reasons up through at least 2024. Therefore, the only two hikes possible are the hikes from Monterosso to Vernazza and Vernazza to Corniglia. Now, if you only choose one hike, which we did, I'd personally recommend the Vernazza to Corniglia hike for two reasons. One, which you'll see later on in the video, is that if you take the train to Corniglia, it involves a staggering amount of stairs which you'll have to climb up. Second, the hike from Vernazza to Corniglia has an awesome bar at the halfway point with refreshing drinks, food, and great views. This bar is called Bar Il Gabbiano. They're located at the highest point of the path. Here we got refreshing frozen drinks. One was an orange and lemon combination, and the other was a frozen watermelon drink. They also have a bathroom as well for those who need to use it. The hike itself wasn't too bad. The worst part was the excruciating heat, simply because there isn't too much coverage on the hike itself. The entire hike took us approximately 2 hours with a 20-minute stop at the bar midway. Now, with the help of Scrinsel, I was able to visually plan out my entire trip in a much more organized way and combine everything I was finding all into one place. I'll include a link to Scrinsel in my description box below for those who are interested. You can get 20% off with the code Angela20. Soon, we were nearing the end of our hike and Corniglia was finally in sight. We made it down from the hike into Corniglia's Old Town. For Corniglia, one incredibly important stop was Alberto Gelato. This gelato shop is very well known for their basil flavored gelato, but my personal favorite was their honey flavored one. They're well known as being the best gelato shop in Corniglia and perhaps even the entire Cinque Terre region, or at least the one with the most unique homemade flavors.
Oh wow. Did you try the basil one yet?
No.
It tastes like pesto.
Corniglia itself isn't huge, and after walking a bit more, we found ourselves in the town square. Beyond this and a few other souvenir shops, there really wasn't much else. Next, we went to go find the train station. There are about 380 steps that zigzag their way down from the town of Corniglia down to the station itself. We next went to Rio Maggiore. This is the southernmost village in Cinque Terre. We made a quick stop at a fried seafood spot which serves primarily fresh fried seafood with a few vegetables thrown in. This shop was perfect for grabbing a seafood-filled cone that everyone seemed to be enjoying throughout the region. It was filled with delicious goodies like fried anchovies, squid, shrimp, and much more. Rio Maggiore itself is also quite small, and we visited the harbor next, where you have the quintessential colorful houses forming the backdrop. It's definitely a fantastic spot to really appreciate the beauty of the village, and you get your postcard moment here. Last but not least, Manarola. We saved Manarola for last because we wanted to save it for sunset, since this is by far the best village to go to for it. We arrived right around golden hour and went right to Nessun Dorma. They're a restaurant well known for their meat and cheese platters and wine, but even more so for their amazing sunset views since it's perched high up. On the day we visited, Nessun Dorma was unfortunately closed, but we still were able to go to the restaurant to enjoy the views. For those who go on a day when Nessun Dorma is open, I'd highly recommend downloading the app and putting yourself on the waitlist around 4 to 5 p.m. to make it just in time to eat dinner by the sunset. It surprisingly wasn't as crowded as we were expecting, even though it was a busy mid-July day. The changing hue of the buildings in the setting sun is really quite magical around this time. After sunset, we went to a well-known focaccia and wine spot. You get to choose amongst a variety of different types of freshly made hot focaccia. We chose the sausage and onion, which was absolutely delicious, and the pesto, which is what the region is known for. The focaccia was the best we'd ever had. It was perfectly crispy on the bottom while being fluffy in the middle, and was an incredibly satisfactory meal and end to our trip.